Hey kids, good to see you. If you ask me why I look like an 80s punk, I have an explanation later in the video, so don't turn off, I guess. um, yeah, I've been away for a bit because honestly, I was so tired. All I wanted was to watch Gilmore Girls and rot for a bit. Now I'm back and I just want this video to be chill, so let's just talk about books that would get you out of the reading slump. I got myself out of the reading slump not so long ago. I wish I could read as much as those, book talk, bookfluencer enthusiasts, because they're great, but I don't have time. But I try to read as much as I can these days because it really helps me to distract from gestures at everything. And it took me a bit to get out of that slump, so I'm gonna tell you what kind of books help me to get out of the reading slump, and in the end I'll give you the main part of the content, the main book, the best one, I think, in this little video. So let's get into it. So let's just make this video chill, okay? Let's just talk, just chat about books. And this video is for you if your favorite genres are thrillers, fantasies, horror, stories, mystery, stuff like that. That's what I enjoy the most. If you enjoy different genres like romance, stuff like that, probably you would not find this video too interesting. But yeah, let's talk about it. First book that really helped me to get out of this slump was Stillhouse series by Rachel Caine. I read 2 of those. I know there's more. I'm not sure if I want to read the 3rd one, but I will see. But it really helped me because it's so easy to read, and from the page 1 you just get into that story, and you don't want to stop reading it. The first book is Stillhouse Lake, and the second book I read from that series was Kilman Creek. And I just devoured both of them, and it really helped me to get out of that slump. And both of them are thriller/mystery, mostly thriller, and there's definitely some cruelty, definitely a bit of violence. If you're squirmish, maybe don't read, but it's not too much violence. Honestly, it's not the main point of this book. It's mostly about them investigating, trying to honestly save themselves from this serial killer and also catch him as well. And it follows the story of this mother that lives in this small town, trying to build her life with her 2 children, but her secret is that her ex-husband is a serial killer. So immediately love this premise. Yeah, I'm a true crime girly, and a lot of you are, so you would enjoy. If you're a true crime fan, you would enjoy this for sure. So it's not a super highbrow philosophical book. I wouldn't call it a serious literature, but it is not a bad book. It's written well. It's very fun. It's fast-paced. The first book was more entertaining for me for some reason than the second one, although second book is more eventful. There's more things that are happening, and the second book is more of a road adventure, and the first one is just based in that small town. And I'm not going to spoil much. I would just say this: there's a lot of twists and turns, and there's a lot of unexpected plot twists. And I have a problem with the pattern recognition, but even I had I was a bit surprised that in some parts of this book. So highly recommend. The second one would be Maid by Frida Mcfaden. And I know what you're gonna say. You're like, is that even a good book? And it's hard it's hard to say definitively that it's a good piece of literature. Let me put it that way. But it's not bad. I think it's very camp. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows what it is, and it delivers on this fun plot. So obviously immediately the name is Housemaid. So you would assume it's about this girl who had big dreams and became a housemaid and maybe fell in love with the man of the house, right? Kind of, but also there's a twist, and the family is definitely weird. There's a lot of weird things happening, and if you like rich family drama / thriller, you would enjoy it fully. There's not too much violence. There's some interesting parts, but honestly, the main character is the best a part of this book. She is absolutely unhinged. We love her for that. Her decision making and her personality is just out of this world. She's very unique, and I think that's what kind of put this book apart from all these other generic kind of romance / thriller stories. And the fourth book, and the reason why I look like this, is Evil in Me by Jerald. Brom. Look at this beauty. A month ago I had a beautiful, I thought was a genius idea to choose a book by its cover, just to go to a bookstore and pick a book by its cover design, because I might or might not be a graphic designer in my 9 to 5 or my full time. So I just wanted to see what are the trends for the book covers, and it was fascinating, and I made a little vlog video about it, so check it out. I immediately was drawn to the book by Jerald Brom. Look at this beauty. I really like the cover, and it's an original art by the author of the book, so it's amazing. Like very much like psychedelic, maybe 60s style of art. So, and a little bit of 80s for sure, like an 80s comic book style. Typography is fun. This one I also really liked. It's a book, Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay Chapman, and you can see it's like a collage style, very like black and white, minimalist sort of, but very sinister cover. So you could see that it's like horror, and also you can see Jordan Peele's quote on it saying, "Clay Chapman is one of my favorite horror storytellers working today." And Jordan Peele is one of the best horror directors of modern times, so he knows what's up. Biography? No thank you. No thank you. We have this beautiful cover over here, but I already read it obviously, but look at that. Gorgeous. Basic. This one, I love the sort of minimalist collage style. Beautiful cover. Love this one. Look at this colors, typography, illustrations. Beautiful. Really draws me in. This type of covers with like snake or squiggly line in the middle with this type of typography is just really overused recently. Like I see it everywhere. Beautiful. I really hate those call out. They kind of ruin the design for me, but yeah, beautiful, gorgeous. That's what I'm talking about, the snakes. The squiggles. Another snake. Another snake. Yeah, these are like, I guess, modern, no new fantasy, some romantasy. Those covers are usually pretty cute, pretty interesting. Some of them, though, recently give off some AI vibes, which is concerning. This is beautiful. I mean, cute. Yeah, it's pretty standard fantasy cover book. Look at that. That's very Christmassy. And so obviously I chose this, and I didn't read any description, anything about the books that I was looking at. I didn't know the premise. I just liked the artwork. Unfortunately, it's a jacket. It's not printed on the cover. So I was a little disappointed, but I still took it um because the artwork is gorgeous. And it turned out that Jerald Brom, the author of this book, is also an artist, and he's a comic book artist, and he participated in so many projects where he was actually painting, drawing, creating different, doing visual development for video games and comic books and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh my god, floored, because my intuition and my good taste just did not disappoint this time. Okay. And inside the book, there's also some of his artwork, and I'm not going to show you because I want you to buy it, because the artwork is actually very gorgeous. And there's a saying, a talented person is talented in everything, and I think it's true to Jerald Brom, because I thoroughly enjoyed that book. I wouldn't give it full 5 stars. I would give it 4.5. Because there's some things that about this book that I thought could be a little better. But still, it's pretentious. But there's moments where I thought they could have just been, if they weren't included, some of the chapters, the story wouldn't lose anything. Okay, but nevertheless, I enjoyed most of the story. And I really love the main character, Ruby. She is, and also, you still probably have a question like, so why do you look like a 80s punk? Because the book is set in the 80s in America, and it's very much focused on subcultures, on punk rock and metal and goth, subcultures at that time in America. And Ruby had a punk rock band in high school. She's a musician. So she defeats evil with music. So it's a very musical book. There's a lot of references to the 80s punk rock band. It's just fun. It's sort of very, if you enjoy this type of music, I'm sure you would enjoy the book. And Ruby, I could really relate to her as a character. I think she was pretty well written. And honestly, Colleen, take a note. A female protagonist that is not just a placeholder, that actually has some personality. A man wrote a better female character than you, Colleen. And you specialize in that. Come on. Anyways. Colleen Hoover shade over. Regardless, the main character, she is a young adult, and the book really does feel, and I think that's why I didn't give full 5 stars, because it did feel like pretty much like a young adult book, even with all the violence in that book, with all the explicit scenes. It still felt a bit like a YA story, and maybe it's largely due to Ruby. Even though she's a young adult in her early 20s, being like so a bit immature, a bit emotional, and it's not because she's not like capable or smart or anything. It because of her trauma, because of her past, like things that she kind of had in her past, she pushed away. And I think it's very beautiful character exploration, and I could really relate to that character, because I feel like I was that girl in my early 20s. I feel like I was not at the level of maturity in my early 20s that I could be if I was more introspective and if I had a better understanding of my own emotions. So she has this anger issues, and I could really understand because well, we all have some of those issues. So I truly highly recommend that book. Also love the lore of that story, and all the mythology, all the demons, all the relationships between characters, even like those mythical characters, the demons, these demigods. They're very human-like. Um, you could understand their feelings, even though they're this ancient creatures, right? And Ruby's relationships with Beale, the creature that, a little spoiler here, possesses her, are just beautiful. The development of their relationship, the way that they sort of become friends in the end. Honestly, at some point, I felt like I wanted them to be an item, like more than just a spirit that possesses a person, but like I wanted Beale to become a human boy at some point. I was like, they should be together, but I'm not gonna spoil any further, but that's how I felt when I was reading it. I thought it was very beautiful, their relationship, but it didn't happen in the way that I hoped it would happen. But I think it's a good thing. I think the book is better for that. So I highly recommend it. Please read Evil and Maid by Jerald Brom. Thank you for watching my video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, be nice. I will see you again soon. Bye!